I personally don't like Banlist prediction videos because we know they're not really predictions. They're just list of cards that people don't like. So they want to ban certain cards that they really, really hate, and they want to limit some cards that they don't like, but they don't hate enough to ban. And that's all a ban prediction video is. I see that a lot, and it's annoying. It's like, no, you're not really predicting. You're not you're not predicting what Konami will do. So it's not really a prediction. And your recommendations are based off of what you think is is a problem. What you think is a problem. Right? I don't do and by doing that, that's based off of an opinion, based off of your viewpoint. Not that you're looking at like the way I do it, like when I look at a deck, like let's say I want to hit trick stars, right? Let's say I had the power to affect the ban list and hit trick stars. I wouldn't look at trick stars and look at certain little things and be like, all right, that needs to be banned, that needs to be hit, this and that. Like I wouldn't try to hit everything I can in the deck. What I would look for is what is the key card? What is the common denominator in that deck? What is the card or cards that's in the deck that I know people are playing it for? So that's why I would hit Trickstar Reincarnation and Trickstar, because they'll do two things. If I ban Trickstar Reincarnation, a lot of people who only play Trickstars because of Reincarnation will stop playing Trickstars. You think they're gonna keep playing it even though the reason they play the deck is because of Reincarnation? I'm a fan of Reincarnation. One of the reasons, that one of the reasons, not the only reason, one of the reasons I would play Trickstars is because of Reincarnation. Meaningful card. I'm a fan. So obviously that if I were to ban Trickstar Reincarnation, right? Trickstar Reincarnation is banned, therefore now that doesn't have Reincarnation. There are two other trap cards in the game that have a similar effect that could replace Trickstar Reincarnation, but it won't be Trickstar Reincarnation, right? Trickstar Reincarnation is Trickstar Reincarnation. So if I ban it, well, I don't have it. If I don't have it, I have to figure out a different way to play the deck. Either using other two traps like a service strategy or a present card as a pseudo substitute for Trickstar Reincarnation, but it won't be the same. It'll be similar, but it won't be the same. So since it's not the same, you want to play it, right? So then I might not want to play it. But if I like the deck for more than just the Reincarnation, I'll still play the deck and play some other, strategies. I could focus on the OTK aspect of Trickstar. I could just focus on that, or just focus on a team burn like build where I play other cards that I'll play more burn cards in the deck, because the deck already with the monsters and fields already burned. Then I can throw in like burn cards like Secret Barrels or something. We just do some more burn and focus on that instead of the whole Reincarnation aspect. Right? So that's why it makes sense to hit Reincarnation. You can hit other things if you really want. You can hit Cantina. Like for example, let's say you just flat out Cantina. That makes it harder to close out. It's not off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly, but I don't think you can use the skill spell to get Reincarnation. You have to the skill spell, I think it's only specifically to get monsters, and then like Cantina, and you can get skill the Reincarnation. So if you wanted to slow the deck down, but still have the Reincarnation power, and then combine it with Errata, another, then you ban Cantina and you slow the deck down. But once somebody has Reincarnation and draw out for it, the benefit whole hand, you lose just because of the top deck. Your opponent has all this advantage. So yeah, banning Cantina slow the deck down, but it didn't use record deck. You definitely didn't make it because want to slow that concept. Okay, so if you do Reincarnation, you automatically cut half of the player base to play Trickstar down by reducing the amount of people that are playing Trickstar. Trickstar is still playable, but won't be as played as much, so then they won't be at events as much, which means other decks can slowly start creeping up to the top of tournaments. and that's the goal. The whole goal is not to just flat out, kill something with fire, as it were. That's what a lot of people like to do. Oh, I hate this deck. This deck too good. Ban it. Like, no, you don't have to go that far. And most people want more to happen to Trickstars than just my Trickstar reincarnation banning suggestion. And again, it's a suggestion. I don't care if the card is in the game or not. See, that's the thing. I'm not biased. I'm not about, oh, I hate this, so I want it banned. I'm fine with whatever Konami decides. So then the next thing would be, what if I want to slow down Sky Strikers, and anybody who understands the archetype enough knows that Hornet is a big deal, because I personally have played with the cards, and Engage is irrelevant to me. It's just a search card. It's not that big of a deal. It's just a search card. That's it. As a deck thinner, great, but it doesn't build boards. That's the thing. It's a great card, but it doesn't build boards. Hornet builds boards, and that's what matters. It's for you to get monsters in the field, attack your opponent, deal damage, and win. That's the whole goal of the game. Engage does not do that. Engage can get you Hornet, and what does Hornet does? Build boards that you can beat your opponent with. So if you want to slow down Sky Strikers, but still, let the deck still be playable by people who like to still play it, get rid of Hornet, and you'll cut down half the people who only care about the drone. Most people who play Sky Strikers only play it because of drone. Even some people be like, oh, why drone should get hit? Drone shouldn't get hit. If you are going to hit it, just limit it to one. Why? So you can still have drone, right? Because you have engaged, right? Because you can still search drone, right? So you can still do what drone does. You can still build boards. You don't want your ability to build boards to go away, which is why you would defend Hornet not being banned. See, that's you being biased. That's not you being logical. That's not you being, neutral, where it's like, if you were doing a so-called prediction, more likely what would happen is that Hornet would get banned. That way, everything else, they don't have to. That way, Konami doesn't have to touch anything else in the archetype. They don't have to figure out what else to do to the deck to make it weaker and less playable. Just get rid of Hornet, and there you go. Now the deck has to rely on using Rhea or the main monster, the only main deck monster in the archetype right now. So I'll give her more attention. She'll matter more. So more people will try to play her. Some people will probably play Summoner Monk just to get her on the field faster, reinforcement army, because she's a warrior, and so forth and so forth. So the deck can focus on her more like it should, because if you look at the artwork on these cards, it's mainly her in different outfits. You know what I mean, right? So it's just common sense that she should get more attention. So that's why ban drone. That way, everybody who still wants to play Sky Strikers can focus on Rhea, focus on, strategies, and figuring out ways to make the deck still, be a really, really good deck without it being so free and easy with Hornet drone. You know what I mean? So common sense. When it comes to Sky Strikers, you hit Hornet drones. That's why everybody likes Sky Strikers, because of Hornet drone. Hornet drones lead to the extra deck monsters. Common sense. So you hit drone, not engage or anything else like that. That's irrelevant. Then how about Gokis, right? There's so many things you can do to Gokis. You can hit Invoker, but it's still irrelevant, because all they have to do is make Soul Day, milling out the Divine Sword Phoenix Blade, bouncing, adding it back to your hand, and then you link summon for a nightmare monster, pitch it, draw, you know what I mean, and then make another one, after you get the blade back to hand, make another nightmare monster, pitch the blade, draw, you know what I mean. Think about it. You notice the pattern? Draw, draw, draw. I have no problem people wasting their whole hand to build a board, especially a board that can be broken. Nightmare boards can be broken. They're not unbreakable. They've been broken numerous times. I've seen them plenty of times. They've been broken. I've broken them. I made a video about breaking the nightmare board. It ain't that deep. let's not act like nightmare boards are unbreakable. They're not unbreakable. They're cute. They take a while to build because all this loop stuff. But if you play, some hand traps, you can slow them down, especially if you play like Drawn Lockbird, so they're not drawing. Because the real problem is when they're building that board and they're plussing, which means even after you break their board, they still have cards to play against, and that's the real problem. That's the real problem. Because again, breaking their boards is not an issue because you should be ready to break people's boards all day, every day. You should be prepared to break nightmare boards. Nightmare boards are expected. If a deck can make a nightmare board or extra link you out of your extra deck, right? You're supposed to already have main deck or side deck outs to that strategy. You should already be prepared for that. So no way no one should be complaining, oh, but they make the board and that's the problem. No, it's not. You're supposed to already have a solution for that problem anyway. So no, it's not a problem. But them making that board and still having cards to play you, even after you waste your hand to break the board. You waste your hand to break the board, but then they still have a hand and then they beat you because they have card advantage. That's the real problem. Once you break their board, they shouldn't have nothing to come back at you with. So, by hitting the Divine Sword Phoenix Blade, for example, prevents them to have that discard outlet to plus. You want them not to plus. You want them to neg. If they want to create that nightmare board, they have to use up their whole hand. You want them to be handless when they make that board. That's why the sword should definitely be banned. It's not needed for anything else. It's not like it's going to ruin the game if we get rid of the Divine Sword Phoenix Blade. So we can't be like, oh, you banned the sword, automatically all these other decks are not playable no more. No. Only the decks that was abusing this Divine Sword Phoenix Blade will be the only ones affected by it. And that would be what? Goki and Spirals, because they're using the exact same strategy, the Isolde strategy, with the Nightmare board. So all we're really affecting is the Divine Phoenix Blade Nightmare board strategy by banning the sword. Because Nightmare board is going to happen regardless of what you do, regardless if you get rid of Invoker or Isolde. Nightmare boards are still going to be made. They're not going to be, you're not going to be plusing as much without the sword, obviously, but that's why I rather ban the sword, because the Nightmare boards are going to be made regardless. So trying to hit stuff to prevent the board from being made, it's irrelevant. The board is going to be made regardless, even if you hit certain things. The true way to get rid of the Nightmare board is to ban all the nightmares, right? But that's not going to happen. And it shouldn't happen. But nightmares is fun. We should be able to have stuff like that in the game anyway. So ban the sword, because the sword ain't a big deal. No one's going to lose sleep over that card being banned. But some people are going to have a problem with Invoker being banned, especially if they were using it for other strategies other than Gokis and stuff, right? Some people might use it for the actual X-Saber deck, or they might use it for some type of, burn strategy, or some type of other link strategy that they were doing, making some type of link monster. So let's not prevent them from playing the game with some good cards. We just gotta get rid of one degenerate card, which is Divine Sword. No one needs it that badly, so it doesn't have to be in the game, so it can be banned. So those are suggestions, things that I would, ban, just to make some decks weaker, so that way they'll be less popular, less playable for people, less popular for people, which will make it less playable, and then other people might, show other decks some love, right? Now, limited is obviously to reduce abusability. That's what the limitless would be. So I would suggest cards to limit certain potential strategies that will create a problem later on. Some people, of course, you say, a lot of people will be like, oh, I hate the Nightmare board, extra length thing. Well, you would hate it if your opponent had 7 negates on board, right? Build a board that has 7 negates. You know what can do that? Pendulum decks. Pendulum decks can create 7 negates, relatively easy. 4 to 7 negates, relatively easy. And just because not that many pendulum decks are being played, whenever people were playing pendulum decks recently, they've been topping. They've been winning consistently because they just build their unbreakable board, negate anything you try to do, and you automatically have to scoop. Unless you have Spear Mode or Lava Golem or a couple Kaijus, it's going to be hard for you to break their boards. So of course, you know how they got to those boards? Triple Electrum. So if you limit heavy metal foes Electrum to 1, if they can still manage to make those boards with just 1 Electrum, well, they were destined to make that board, right? But 3 Electrum makes it too easy to make. You only need 2 Pendulum monsters to bring out 1 Electrum, and then that 1 Electrum lets you get 2 Pendulums from your deck added to your extra deck, and you just fill up your extra deck, right? And since you're making your link summonings and pendulum summoning from your hand, all this extra stuff, right? Summoning a whole bunch of monsters, you're linking, you're synchro summoning, you're C summoning, you're doing all these different plays and summonings that exist in the game all in one turn and all in one deck consistently. You know what I mean? Again, you only really need 2 to 3 cards just to start that off. And you need 3 Electrums for that strategy to work. So that's why you hit Electrum to 1. No one should be complaining it being hit to 1. No one should be like, oh, there's no reason to hit it to 1. Oh, yes, there is. And if you don't know it needs to be hit to 1, then you're not paying attention or you're not playing the game right, clearly. Because 3 Electrums builds unbreakable boards. Or at least very strong boards with multiple negates, which means more victories. In other words, it's basically camping. If you think of shooting game strategies, camping. 3 Electrums allows you to camp. So the whole idea is nerf the camping capabilities, right? Hit Electrum to 1, whether you know if it's a problem or not. Trust me, I'll let you know. It's a problem. Limit it to 1. There, problem solved for you. And then limiting scapegoats to 1. Ironically, it could just be flat out banned, but it is slow. And limiting it to 1 makes it where you could still play it. It's a slow card because you gotta wait a turn. It's a slow card, but it's a good defensive card. You know, some decks can utilize it defensively. Can of course spam link monsters. It makes some decks that typically can't spam link monsters able to spam link monsters, so it lets them be playable. So I will be okay with scapegoats at 1. So some decks can try to link spam, like all these other decks that automatically link spam, right? Let some decks that that can use scapegoats to have a competitive, capabilities, have a fighting chance is the way I would call it. Have a fighting chance. Let them have 1 scapegoat. It's still slow, and by having only 1 per deck, it makes it harder to use, because you're not going to consistently get it, so no one can complain, oh, the consistency. Like, no, it's limited to 1 per deck, so it's still playable, but it's limited, right? Another reason Electrum should get hit to 1, back to Electrum, right, is the fact that it's an extra deck card. It's not a main deck card. It's an extra deck card. So you can consistently access all 3 Electrums. More reason that it needs to get hit to 1, so you can only access that 1. Since it's in your extra deck, so it's easy to access it. Unlike a 1 copy of a scapegoat in a deck ain't that easy to access it, unless you're playing like 3 Gold Sarcophagus or some Foolish Burial Goods type strategy, Magician of Faith type strategy, where you send scapegoats to graveyard for Foolish Burial Goods, and then use Magician of Faith, add it back to hand. Anyway, you have to play all these other types of cards that you probably won't even want to play just to get the scapegoats, just to try to play it. And that's the thing, you gotta set it. Play it on your opponent's end phase, hope he doesn't MST it or Phoenix Nightmare pop it or some stuff. Like, just hopefully they don't get rid of it and it lasts long enough that you could try it. So again, that's why it's not a big deal to like flat out ban it. But some people have some fun. Most casual players will be the ones to use it anyway than competitive players. So hit it to 1. Semi-limited, I don't really have much suggestions for semi-limited. Personally, I prefer to have 3 copies of something or no copies. I don't like things being limited unless it's to make things a little bit fair, to make things a little balanced. Where it's like, hey, We're allowing you to still have access to the card. We're just not going to let you have too much access. Therefore, that's what we're limited. Banning is just like, oh, it's too much. The card is way too good at what it does, and we want